We have an expert to explain this to every one of you. Mr. David King is an award-winning speaker and mentor who some of you might have met before, as he was an invited main platform speaker at the MDRT Global Conference in 2023. Sounds promising, yeah? I'm sure he's the right person to bring us a topic on story selling. Sell more without selling harder.
So it's definitely an art to sell without selling. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please put our hands together to welcome Mr. David King.
Woo!
Sorry, there's a little bit of a technical glitch here, so let's fix this first, yeah?
Hi, David.
Hi, David. We are looking forward to your sharing. Can you give us a little bit hint what you're going to tell us a little more upcoming?
I think it's about selling.
Yes. So I think the difficulty when it comes to selling is when we just focus on selling. What is selling? And how do you do it effectively? I think the end goal of today is to teach everyone here how to end up with more deals than just walking away with one.
And we really look forward to knowing how to sell, but not to sell, right? Okay, so the stage is yours. David, thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. There are 3 items here on this table. The first item is a red packet. Now this red packet is made from high quality paper that makes it resistant to bending and tearing. It comes in 2 different types of finishing, matte and glossy. Now the compartment within this red packet is big enough for you to put different sizes of currency at different amounts, making it the perfect red packet to use during Chinese New Year. Now in Singapore, this cost about 50 cents each. Just for illustration purposes, I put a $10 Singapore note inside, making the total value of this red packet $10.50. I'd like to ask anybody here in this congregation, if I sold it to you at $10.50, how many of you will want it right now? Probably not. It's okay. How about the second item? Now the second item is a high quality plastic. This plastic is lightweight and is malleable or shaped. It's possible to shape to any shape you want under low heat. The best part about it is, as fast as it's shaped into the preferred shape, it hardens out very quickly also. High quality, isn't it? Now, if you get this out in the market, it will probably cost you about 1,200 Singapore dollars. If I sold it to you at 1,200 Singapore dollars, can I see a show of hands? How many of you will be interested to buy this? No? Probably not. Okay, let's try the third item then. I get it. It's after lunch. You're not interested to buy anything from me. Perfectly fine. Third item here. All right, this third item I have over here is a very nice basket. It is made up of high quality rope interwoven with each other to form the shape of this basket. Now, there are metal rods around this basket to form the structure, making it very firm. The basket is curved on the edges, making it look very nice anywhere around the house. Now, the compartment within this basket allows you to put anything like a pillow so your pet can sleep on. And it also allows you to put things like fruits or flowers. This is a little cheaper. In Singapore, it's about $20. How many of you would be interested to buy this if I sold it to you at $20? Oh. Okay, I think I'm going back right now. Probably not. Now, probably not for all these 3 items, because all I have done is presented to you the features and benefits of these items rather than spend time to present it to you in a way that matters to you. And that is why you say no. Likely, you have a low perceived value of all these 3 items. You're not emotionally connected, and you don't feel like buying it. Is that correct? If it's correct, can I hear you say yes? Now, I want everybody to reflect on how you feel right now. And I want you to take a screenshot of how you feel. Because this is exactly how our customers feel when all we do is talk about our products, features, and benefits. In the market, we tell our customers something like this. Today, I want to share with you why our plans are the best in the market. Or we tell our customers we have a variety or a flexibility in premium payments, allowing you to adjust according to your financial needs. Or we tell customers we have a vast range of investment tools. Would you like to find out more? Now, while all these different products sound great on their own, because they do not engage your customers perceive it as low value, it doesn't engage their emotion, and you end up not selling. Can I see a show of hands? How many of you find this very familiar? Well, if this is familiar to you, what I'm going to share with you today, hopefully, will stop this kind of outcome for you. In fact, I want these outcomes for you. In sales, I want to be able to help you sell exponentially. And for those of you who are leaders here in this room, what I'm about to share with you will also help you be able to recruit. Now, Afinsa, I've got one mission for today. And that is to share with all of you here how to utilize the power of storytelling to get these outcomes in 3 simple steps. Now, I'm going to make it a little challenging for myself today. I'm going to be using these 3 items over here. The first item, the red packet. I'm going to use the red packet to illustrate how to package your story so that it increases the perceived value. This high quality plastic over here, I'm going to use it to show you how to personalize your story so that you can turn a story into a selling tool. And with this basket over here, I'm going to show you how to position your story so that you can sell more without selling harder. How many of you would like the outcome for yourselves after today? Can I see your show of hands? All right, turn to the person beside you and say, this is very important. It's time to wake up. Can you do that right now? Turn to the person beside you, nudge them and say, this is very important. It's time to wake up. Yes? When I was growing up, Grandma was one of the closest people to me. How many of you have grandmas that are very close to you? Then you'll probably be able to relate to me. My grandma was a very good cook. With her hands, she would cook amazing dishes. With the same hands, she used to ease my tummy whenever my tummy was uncomfortable. Because when I was growing up, I always had abdominal pains. And when I was growing up, my grandma also did this for me. She always pet me to sleep. And if she were to sing a Chinese song, it would probably sound something like this. 你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分，我的情也真 我的爱也真月亮代表我的心。If you know the song, sing together with me. 你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分？我的情不变，我的爱不变，月亮代表我的心。And just like that, thank you. Just like that, I'll be sound asleep. Now, for those of you who had grandmas who loved you, wouldn't you wish that your grandma would love you all the days of your life? And that was what I hoped for myself. Remember earlier I shared with you that my grandma was a very good cook. But one day, things started to change. Whenever my grandma would cook a new dish, it seems to always overcook. For those of you here who are chefs, who are cooks, maybe even cooking eggs, okay? That counts. If you cook eggs regularly, right, do you think you will often overburn your eggs? Probably not, because you're familiar with cooking eggs. But that got us worried a little bit because my grandma's a very good chef, and yet she's always overcooking her dishes. Now, because she's about close to 70 years old, we didn't worry very much. Until one day, we received a phone call from one of our neighbors that told us that she's at the bottom of our apartment and she seems to not know how to come back home. That same week, we brought her to see the doctor, and the doctor diagnosed her to have dementia. Is there somebody here in this room who has somebody that you love? It could be a spouse, a relative, a parent, a grandma. What will be your greatest fear if one day you discover that they have dementia? That one day they will forget you. And that was my greatest fear. And this happened in 2007. So every time I visited my grandma, I found that she started to forget me more and more. Now, in 2011, during Chinese New Year, when I went to visit her, she had completely forgotten who I was. I went into her room, I gave her a hug, a kiss, and said, "Mama, I love you." And then I went into her bedroom. I sat on her bed and started watching television that's opposite me during Chinese New Year. Suddenly, Mama, out of nowhere, came into the room, sat at the edge of the bed, and pulled out a chest drawer. And she started playing with paper. Or at least I thought. When suddenly she turned around with a red packet in her hand, she said, "David, this is for you." I want everybody to imagine for a moment. The person you love had completely forgotten who you are, and suddenly they call out your name. How would you feel? I was shocked. So standing here, I was like, "Thank you, Mama." And as soon as I was done with that, I kissed her and she walked out of the room. She was back to her demented state. Now, that same evening, I opened up the red packet and I saw there was $10 inside. Now, what this told me is that she gave me this red packet intentionally. And this is how the red packet looked like. Let me ask you, over on this side, Afinsa, if you were to give me 10,000 US dollars, do you think I will exchange this red packet for $10,000? Yes or no? Let me hear you say yes or no. No? Okay. The middle row over here, if you give me $100,000, do you think I will exchange this for $100,000? Yes or no? Okay, let me hear you say yes or no. No? Okay, let me try over here. Over here, if you were to give me $1 million, do you think I'll exchange it for $1 million? Yes! My grandma would say, go and use the $1 million and buy a universal life plan. Here's the thing, guys. How did this red packet that initially started with only being worth $10.50 now suddenly is worth, by your own admission, more than $100,000? It's because of the story. Everybody say story. Story that's attached to it. I'd like everybody here to imagine if you were to attach your story to your brand, products, and services. Can you imagine how much higher perceived value there will be to what you have to offer to your customers? Crafting any story follows a very simple 3-step process. Step number 1 is normal. Normal relates to the part of your story before something unexpected happens. With your customer, the normal part is the part that relates to your customer's current situation. Then you move on to an explosive event. Now, the explosive event is the part of your story that talks about the unexpected event that happened to you. This is also the part that relates to your customer's current or future pain. Then you move on to new normal. This is the part of your story where you share with the audience what are the right decisions you make to get the results that you want. This is also the part of your story that tells your customers the benefit of making the right decision. Just by following these 3 simple steps, you can add this into your brand, products, and services to increase its perceived value. Now that we have spoken about crafting your story, it brings us to the next part. How do we turn a story into a selling tool? Personalize. Personalization of your stories are extremely important because different ones of your customers have different needs. Out there, when you meet your customers, they throw different kinds of objections at you, not because they hate you, but because they are not clear. For example, customers who are always very healthy. For the longest time, they have never been to the hospital, they have never been to the clinic, and when you try to help them see the importance of having a health plan, they would say, I've never been sick all my life, why do I need a health plan? If I was a financial services consultant, and if I was going to use a story to turn it into a selling tool, personalizing to this customer, this is likely a story that I would tell. I want everybody to imagine the happiest day of your life. For me, it was 11 years ago when I got married to my wife. And I'm going to bring everybody back to that moment when I got married to her. It was at Fullerton Hotel in Singapore. And in this moment, I'm standing on the stage, and my wife is at the back door waiting for me to start playing. And the moment I start playing, she will start to walk in through the door. Now, to create the atmosphere for you to imagine what that day was like, I prepared some slides over the next slide for you to imagine this moment together with me. Okay? Here we go. And all my life, I prayed for someone like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. All my life, I prayed for someone like you. And I know that you feel the same way too. Yes, I pray that you do love me too. At this moment, guys, 11 years ago, thank you, was the happiest moment of my life. Because I got to marry a very beautiful girl that I've fallen in love with. I want everybody to imagine, okay, so I was on cloud 9. And for us, we may not be married, but many cloud 9 moments could be your biggest sales deal. It could have been your wedding. It could have been your biggest promotion. But here's the thing about cloud 9 moments. We think we are invincible. Nothing could happen to us. We will never be sick. Nothing negative could ever happen to us. Is that correct? Until something happens. In 2021, during the COVID-19 crisis, somewhere in March, we are guilty of watching a lot of Korean dramas. How many of you are guilty of watching dramas? Maybe Chinese dramas here. Yeah. We spend a lot of time watching dramas, right? And this was somewhere in March 2021 when my wife started to experience discomfort in her eye. It was an unusual discomfort, but we didn't think very much about it. And every time she had this discomfort, she would put eye drops in her eye. It would ease her discomfort, but then it would come back again. This discomfort dragged for over 6 months. And at the 6th month, we started to see a growth from her eye emerging outwards towards the center of her eyeball. We started to get a little worried. And so we decided to go to a specialist to get her eyes checked. And had one of the worst news of our lives. Now, before I share with you exactly what transpired in the doctor's clinic there, let me share with you a little bit about my wife. Isn't she beautiful? My wife's beautiful. Thank you. And she's intelligent. And she has never stepped into a hospital all her days of her life. She hardly steps into a clinic. Can you see why when she felt the discomfort at first, we never thought it would be anything serious? Because how could something serious happen when all her life she has never had anything serious happen before to her? And so even when we were sitting in front of the doctor in the private clinic, we were not expecting anything negative until this is what he said. The first diagnosis was, he looked at her eye and said, it seems nothing serious. We're going to incise or remove that growth and you'll be back to normal again. And he walked out of the room. Very quickly, he walked back in again, but this time his facial expression changed. He said, I just spoke to one of my colleagues and it seems that there's a possibility that this is cancer. She was immediately scheduled to do a biopsy, and the biopsy confirmed the diagnosis that she had cancer. Imagine discovering this news about somebody you have waited all your life to love and to marry. Now, to share with you the weight of this news, we have to go all the way back to 2019. It was because in 2019, 11th of January, her eldest brother's life was taken away by stage 4 cancer when it came back to ravage his body through colon cancer. And so back in the clinic when she received this news, can you imagine what she must be thinking? This disease took my brother's life away and I'm about to lose mine. How would you feel? The doctor immediately scheduled her to go for a surgery where we remove the growth in her eye and scheduled her to go for radiotherapy after that. And this was when this plastic that nobody here cared about became extremely valuable to us. You see, this plastic was actually a flat film that was placed on top of her. But under low heat, it was molded to the shape of her face, as you can see over here on the screen. And this is the exact plastic that was used on her for her radio treatment. It suddenly became so valuable because it had to hold her in position. Radiotherapy is quite invasive. It will destroy your nerve, it will destroy your skin. These are the side effects that doctors tell you would happen, and so we need to isolate the treatment so that it doesn't damage other areas of the body. Something so invaluable suddenly became so valuable to us. The doctors advised that we should go between 12 to 18 sessions of radiotherapy. But during this time we prayed, we told the Lord, for we wanted a miracle of healing. And we felt led to tell the doctor that we just wanted a few sessions and just see how it went. And here's the news I have to report to everyone. My wife today, she's somewhere here in this room, is completely free from cancer. I get to live with her till my old age. Coming back to this story, I think it begs the question, but David, how about the medical bills, right? To answer this question, we have to ask ourselves, did we go to a government or a private hospital? Would you go to a government or private hospital? Private, why? Because in government hospital, you have to wait in line to see the doctor. If you're critically ill, you do not want to wait in line. You want to have medical care on demand. And so we chose private. But the only downside of private is every single time you see a doctor, it's a few hundred to a few $1,000s. Thankfully, 9 years before this incident happened, my wife, who has never been into a hospital and hardly steps into a clinic, told herself that because I'm healthy today, it doesn't guarantee that I'm healthy tomorrow. And the only way to protect my tomorrow is to plan today. And that plan that she made 9 years ago came into effect in 2021. And because of that, our bills were also fully paid for. If I was sitting in front of a customer, this is what I would tell the customer. Mr. Customer, as a financial services consultant, most of the time, I call my customers. I arrange for meetings. I ask them if they are free for financial planning. There are those few times that my customers will call me. And when they call me, they ask me about their medical plan. I know something has gone wrong. Does it sound familiar to everybody here? So, Mr. Customer, the best time to buy the hope that you want is not when you are sick. It's before a crisis happens. What do you think about what I just shared with you? Now, this is an example about how you can turn a story into a personalized approach. And because you personalize it, it becomes a selling tool for you. Now, in personalization of your story, when you're interacting with your customers, it happens at different stages of the sales process. This picture that you see over here is a sales process that I teach called GPS Selling System. And in Seed, it's where customers will ask you, why should I trust you? And over here, you want to create a personalized story to help them address some doubts, even though you are new in the industry or you're meeting them for the first time. This is called a brand story. Your customer decides to take on to the next step with you. This is where you help them uncover desired outcomes so that they can see something that's important to them that they never saw before. And because they need an assurance, you might want to prepare a story that provides evidence based on what you are sharing with them. Moving on to the next step, when customers are open for you to serve them, then that's when you propose ideas. Now, we are all in a business not of controlling our customers, but to help them be able to make the best decision for themselves. And so in the different options that you provide, you want to be able to provide stories that help them make the best decision for themselves. And then last, which is serve. At this point, customers might throw objections at you to tell you, like what this lady said, I'm always healthy, actually I do not need a health plan. This is where you want to prepare some stories to address those objections. Now, for most of the time in sales, we are being taught to address objections in a way that's somewhat manipulative. But I like to say this, our customers object not because they are against you, 不是得罪你, right? 不是针对你, they're not against you, but because they lack clarity. And our stories help them have clarity. Now, so far, all I've shared with you is this. I've shared with you how to sell using stories by packaging your brand products and services using a story and personalizing your story so it matters to your customers emotionally. This brings us to the last step for today. And this last step is highly critical. Have you ever wondered why some salespeople are able to walk away from the sales meeting with many deals while others walk away with only one? It's all about how you position. And in this case, it's how we position the story. Now, when it comes to selling, the sales that we make should be an outcome of the good work that we do. Everybody agree? And so this slide represents a typical salesperson who focuses specifically on selling a product. And because they are focused on specifically selling a product rather than being interested in their customers, naturally all they would say is features and benefits. But what if we are able to position it towards what the customer wants? Using a story to eliminate a possible desired outcome, for example, a busy working professional could be to show them the importance of wealth protection. And just by focusing on helping them see the importance of income protection, you end up not selling one product, you end up selling more. Can you see that? But how about a family, right? Parents with children. If we are able to share with you stories to position an outcome that's important to them, for example, to protect their family's future, can you see that immediately you don't sell one plan, you don't sell three, you probably can sell 5 with each plan having a higher quantum. If you want to take it a step further, which is emerging, right? Many countries these days are having the reverse pyramid where we're having a lot of aging individuals. Back in Singapore, by 2030, 1/4 of our population will be above the age of 65. And it's fast becoming a trend in Singapore where legacy planning is hugely important. And if you're able to help them see an outcome about the importance of legacy planning, can you see how you might end up selling more without selling harder? Or simply by positioning how stories are used to help them see the value beyond their natural eye. Now, when it comes to selling outcomes or using stories to position outcomes, it sounds a lot easier than we think. Why? Simply this. Many of us struggle with achieving our very own outcomes. It could be an area of your family, it could be an area of your sales targets, it could be in an area of you wanting to grow a team. And because we cannot achieve our own outcomes, it's hard to help our customers achieve theirs. We give ourselves many reasons as to why we cannot, when all we need is one reason why we can. Ladies and gentlemen, in order for us to help our customers' outcomes become more than a dream, we need to see our outcomes becoming more than a dream. Whether you believe it or not, when you achieve your outcomes, you unknowingly end up achieving your customers. In 1958, Mary was placed in a basket like this and was left outside the doorway of an orphanage. At the age of 9, she was adopted into a family, but was constantly accused of stealing stuff that she didn't. Mary stands about 1.55 meters tall. Her highest income has never been above 1,000 Singapore dollars, and her highest education has never been above the age of 9. Mary's favorite pastime is doing housework. How many of us women here love doing housework on a weekend? Mary loves to do that. But one thing that differentiates Mary from everybody else is Mary always smiles. Come, can I invite everybody to come and smile together? 1, 2, 3, let's smile. Come, smile. Okay, imagine this, but all the time, Mary smiles. Only until this happened. Trut, trut. Son, I need you to be in a hospital right now. Huh? What happened? I need you to be in the hospital right now. Just come quickly, okay? I'll explain to you when you're here. Her son, that was still in school, dropped everything and rushed all the way to the hospital. And when he arrived in the emergency department, he saw his mom standing like this, looking down, with a little haversack wrapped around her body, a way that he has never seen before. Clearly, something had gone wrong. As he approached his mom could sense it. She took a step forward and began to hug him. And she just cried. Where she had calmed down and could muster any energy to say anything, these were the only 5 words she could say. Your father just attempted suicide. When the medical professionals were ready, and when they had calmed down, they brought them into the medical room where they were treating her husband with tubes all around his body, extricating the drug that he had ingested. Thankfully, the medical professionals did a good job, and shortly after, he went back to work. But as soon as he was up and running again, did he attempt suicide for the second time. This time around, although he got out of the hospital quick, he spiraled down over the next 5 years in his health, in and out of the hospital, and wasn't able to work. Mary single-handedly, with only $1,000 of monthly income, supported her family throughout this whole period. How would you feel if you were Mary? Does this part of the story sound familiar to some of you? Where you try to achieve the outcomes that you want, where you try to achieve the goals that you want, it doesn't seem to work out as planned. If you were Mary, consider this. Mary would probably be thinking, ever since I was born, my parents rejected me. Finally, at the age of 9, I was adopted, and the very people that chose me also accused me of stealing things almost every single day. As a young kid, I've always wished to have my own family, and finally, I have my own family, and now the one that I love and I can't live without could be lost. How would you feel? What would you do? I believe Mary held on to a vision in her heart. I believe Mary had on a vision in her mind. And she refused to let her past decide what's going to happen in her future. And because she never gave up, her family is intact today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary is also mom. what began in a rejected basket ended in a blessing because Mom didn't give up. And because Mom didn't give up, I get a chance to stand in front of all of you today. What you do about your dreams turning into reality has a direct correlation to you turning your customers' dreams into reality. Because I'm certain about one thing. If everyone here quits financial planning today, all our customers will be in trouble. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because if Mom, whose highest qualification was not above the age of 9, her highest income has never been above $1,000, she could press through to see her visions come to pass. Every single one of you can also do it. Is that right, Afinsa? Turn to the person beside you and say, you can do it. Now in closing, I'd like to share a song with everybody. It's a song that teaches you to fight for what you believe. And this song is called Fight Song. Somewhere in between, I'm going to invite you to sing it together with me. So if the person beside you is sleeping, nudge them and tell them we're going to be singing a song very quickly. So keep awake, okay? Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. All the things I didn't say, wrecking balls inside my head, I will scream them out tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. You see, I still got a lot of fight left in me. So right now I'm going to be doing this. Can I invite everybody to stand together with me? Come on, everybody stand. On the screen, we've got lyrics in English. We've got lyrics in Mandarin. Come, all of us, come, all 2,200 of us. Come on, can I invite you to stand? So I'm going to invite you to do this. The most important story of your journey is the story you tell yourself. And today, right now, we're going to give you an opportunity to recommit to that story in your own life. So as we're singing this song again, I want to invite everybody to sing it together with me. And as you are singing, picture the outcome that you want for your life at the end of this year. Picture the story that you want for your life at the end of this year. So this is how we will do it. For those of you who can sing English, I invite you to sing the English part. For those of you who are singing Mandarin, I invite you to sing the Mandarin part. And after we sing this chorus, we're going to kick it up one key, and it's going to end on a high for all of us to commit into our future. Is that okay? Yes. All right, here we go. This is my fight song. take back my. You sing. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. I still got a lot of fight left in me. This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. Yeah. My power's turned on. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. You see, I still got a lot of fight left in me. Do you believe it? A lot of fight left in me. Yeah. A lot of fight left in me. A lot of fight left in me. Yeah. A lot of fight left in me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for giving us very fruitful tips on the storytelling with your singing and your song and also guitar, as well as the stories. Please be seated.